Hello everyone! Today's review is going to be of an alternative artist that is not so well known, and I hope that I can expose someone to this new album, to this band. They're a band I've loved for 8 years now, and they've been around about 8 years, or if not longer, as a duo from Norway and from the UK. This band is called The Green Children, and the album I will be reviewing today is called Encounter, and it was released on October 10th, 2010. This duo comprises of a Norwegian artist named Mille Sund, who met a English artist from the UK named Marlo Bevan. They actually met in Liverpool in music class together in like a music college. And they started working together and have a bit of a romantic relationship as well. So they are like a duo in the capital D. I discovered them on YouTube from their song Dragons, which is a single off of this album I'm going to be talking about today. And right off the bat, looking at the music video, I automatically got an idea for the aesthetic of this group. They're very electronic, they're very alternative and ambient, and also acoustic and folk leaning. There is a through line of some very strong, what I like to call synthetic acoustic music, meaning there is a lot of synthesizer use and a lot of electronic production, but it doesn't feel heavy-handed. It feels very airy and acoustic. And there are a lot of acoustic guitars incorporated into this music. It has been considered pop music by some reviewers, and I would agree there are a lot of pop sensibilities. You could consider this pop. There's a lot of radio-friendly elements to this music. I think this group is severely underrated. They tend to have a very feel-good message to their songs and also a very esoteric and spiritual undertone to them as well. They're die-hard romantics, and that comes across in their lyrics. They're very pleading and yearning and sincere and genuine. And sometimes they may border on schmaltzy, but there is also something primeval, and there is something throwback in a very like medieval almost sense. There is something fantastical about them as a pairing and as their sound. Mille's vocals, she's the one who actually does the singing. Marlo is the producer and arranger of the music, and they both write together lyrics. And Mille's vocals are so clear and haunting, and she has such a rich tone to her voice. Beautiful high notes that she hits with a beautiful silky timbre. It's very arresting and emotional. There is a very feminine essence to most of these songs, if not all of them, because of her soft and whimsical delivery. The Green Children, the name, it's a very interesting name. It derives from a legend in the UK about these two children. The music video for Dragons illustrates this legend. In England, in the village of Woolpit, it's said that in the 12th century, two children of green skin appeared mysteriously out of nowhere as little kids, and they spoke in an unknown language. As they were fed and they assimilated into life, their skin color started to change to normal. But the boy didn't survive very long, the sister did. And so as she grew up, she explained that she came from this place called St. Martin's Land, considered a subterranean continent where there's a lot of these green people that inhabit this area. It's a very peculiar and interesting folktale. And so they use this legend and run with it. And the Dragons music video shows all of this imagery. You get the idea of a sickly boy or a sickly girl, as Mille is shown to be very sick at the bedside. Dragons has some of the most interesting lyrics on this album. This morning I was climbing woods, like I heard my mama said I never should, but I knew I'd rather fail and fall than never have tried at all. And now there's a dragon in my room, heating up like 40 at noon. My hair must have caught it when I fell, caught up in pain I couldn't tell. Now I'm falling with fever. Don't get close to my bed, 'cause I'm burning, baby. I'm hearing thoughts in my head. It's beating me up from inside. I need more to save me. Give me a place I can hide. To be completely honest, for a long time, I really didn't understand the lyrics of this song and just got into the beat and sound of it because it is one of the more beat-driven songs on this record. But I guess I would interpret this as obviously a play on the idea of childish exploration, climbing a tree, exploring even though you shouldn't, and that you might fall and hurt yourself. Now there's a dragon in my room. I take that to mean now there's a wanderlust instilled in me, and I can't ever get that out of my system. It could also mean now I've met my partner, and we're heating up. I mean, there's a lot of connotations this song could conjure up. The airy synth layering that builds the song structures of all these songs is so melodic and soothing. So there is a soothing element to a lot of these songs. And there's an aching pain that comes through on this song in particular that feels very much like a crisis moment, that feels very much like I need to get this out, like I need to exorcise my demons. But it's very different from a lot of the other songs, which are a lot more laid back and chilled out. The opening song, Encounter, which is the title song, which talks about these two children meeting for the first time, is this soaring, beautiful introductory track with, I feel, a lot of medieval roots. I always imagined this 12th century setting with castles and witches and wizards. It conjures up this fantastical imagery. And this song is based off of, lyrically, more the actual story of the Green Children of Woolpit. Tiny footsteps traveled far, two little shadows on the wall. A strangely colored boy and girl followed a bell into the world. Strange encounter. Tangled words upon their tongue, tales of a land in twilight sun. Green leaf skin tone caused a stir and got people wondering who they were. The airy, bouncy production just creates this very nice ambiance and atmosphere to sort of soak you into that general soundscape of this record. I love the closeout where it's just the vocalizations in a very pop way that sounds also very traditional and ritualistic by Milla. And it adds that like dance by the fire kind of rooted sound that feels very medieval. Are You Out There is a hauntingly and beautiful aching track for a searching for a love or your lost love in the cosmos or in the universe. With a slight Eastern instrumental, this song just pulls at the heartstrings. It's one of my favorites on this record. Moving round, trying to find my dear home. Tiny towns, larger grounds, packing up and down my gowns. There's a sail in my heart that keeps pulling me on, but I've known for a while that my knees just want to bend the grass. Are you out there? The lyrics are so oddly specific in this song. Solving clues, solitude, all for you, leaving trails, avoid behind. Must admit I'm feeling pretty tired, struggling on and on and on for the right company. Rumors made by the shade, come and meet me by the northern tree. Haunting is just the perfect word to describe the emotional impact that these songs can have on you. The pop sensibilities mixed with the ambient, ethereal atmosphere will just sweep you up into the storytelling, even if you don't always necessarily follow the lyrics. Sometimes the lyrics don't always jump out at you. It's more the beautiful traditional style of singing that's very soothing and folk-rooted that I think really allows you into these songs. Though the choruses, which usually are pretty repetitive, but help kind of ground the melody in your head, tend to carry, I think, the bulk of the meaning of these songs. Life Saviour is another example. A beautiful instrumental that is so inviting and warm and mysterious at the same time, speaking about finding someone who literally brings you back to life, that imbues you with life and inspiration to keep going. I have loved, many I have lost, and a few I never forgot. And it seems they all played the part in the failure of mending my heart. I love that lyric. But baby, with your love, you could save a life. Because there's something in your heart that moves me. Something in your mind makes me want to change. You're my life savior. I've met so many people, but finally you did something that no one else before could do. And there's this ecstatic sort of revelation to this song in the unfolding of it that really lets you feel that sort of euphoric release, that cathartic release that I think is so integral to this sort of timeless, ethereal nature of the production and the vocal deliveries of these songs with these beautiful, catchy melodies. I mean, let's not forget that melodies are very strong on this record. We're the Future is a little bit more rooted and a little bit more acoustically leaning, and it provides a very wholesome sort of message of conservation. So don't go sailing on a one-way stream when the river's falling over stolen dreams. We're like the ripples of a sunken stone. We're the future and we can make it our own. It's that very sort of take life by the bullhorns and make life what you want it to be. And so some may consider this a little bit on the cheese or the very friendly sort of band sound type of aesthetic, which is sort of just like follow your dreams and enjoy life. But there's something so earnest and not manufactured about everything that this band creates that you will feel this very empowering feeling hearing these choruses that have the acoustic leaning. It adds that rooted feel, which is very good to have in an album that otherwise would feel very distant and airy. These are the down to earth moments on the record where her voice is less processed and it's more focused. It's a welcome respite, and it just makes this nice pattern for the record where you go in between airy, lofty moments and more rooted, down to earth, soul imbued moments. Though there is soul scattered throughout all of this record. Don't get me wrong. Black Magic is the one saucy song on this record, opening up with a very enticing guitar instrumental. Milla sort of commands the stage, as she does in also the music video, singing about meeting someone and feeling overcome by their presence, by their aura, falling in love with their crystal blue eyes. There's that hint of sexual pleasure, which is not explicit or anything, but it's just there, and it adds sort of this light a spark in the night feeling. And there's a lot of beautiful drawn out vocal sequences where her voice can change in pitch and tone, and it adds a lot of character to her vocal. I think we hear some of her richest vocals in this song because it's a mix between being like very just pure acoustic and also very ambient electronic. It's somewhere in the middle. Another highlight for sure. Skies on Fire was a song that instantly grabbed me upon hearing. A bit of a xylophone-like instrumental that's very playful and childlike, carries this beautifully lush, soaring romantic ballad that has some still really strong pop sensibilities. Talking about a perfect night where the sky was on fire. It could be a beautiful sunset, a romantic, crimson, beautiful day with your lover. That everything has fallen into place. And it's so idealistic. It sums up the idealism of this ambient airy electropop beautifully, which makes the Green Children such a positive, soulful sound. I mean, you can't help but feel lifted by their sound. There's just something so airy about it, and you won't feel bogged down by these songs at all. Some people may find them a little cheesy, but the melodies are so rich and so inviting that who couldn't help but feel their heart open up to these songs. Life was beautiful, an airy, blissful moment. It's like a breezy summer day. Her vocals are very reverbed and spaced out, and it's a little bit more of a minimally produced song, but it's about just a vibe. It's about like a one sort of feeling. And she's reminiscing about at the beginning of a relationship. Can't say much for politics, religious fears, and historic. And with all the books I've read, it's still as confusing in my head. I don't even know where we stand, where we're going to go, or how it all ends. I don't really know that much at all, but I can tell you this: when I felt your kiss, life was beautiful to me. Perfectly summarizes, I think, that moment where we all realize the clutter and chaos of life falls away when we're with the perfect person. A lot of these songs do feel like a tribute to one another. Milla, a tribute to Marlowe, and vice versa, their love and their encounter and connection, which is obviously what this album is about. Hear Me Now is a very endearing and call to action, stirring, almost political song. It speaks about, and it was inspired by, the Green Children Foundation, which is a foundation they set up in Bangladesh to help with microfinancing and education and healthcare in these poor countries. And they actually filmed the music video for this song in a village in Bangladesh. And so the Unitarian come together feel is very strong with this song. It almost feels a bit like a spiritual or a church spiritual, but it's of course not religious. It's just a plea to listen to women in particular, as well as men, but it is predominantly hear her now, she cries. And this is again a moment where we really get to hear the raw emotional side to Milla's voice. Instead of it being eerie, it's real pain and emotion is not stripped away. I love her voice in either form, but it's really welcoming to have that as we go through this record. A scarf uncovers a smiling face that tells the story of a changing place. I think no lyric on this album better summarizes a song and an idea and a message than this one, the opening line. A scarf uncovers a smiling face that tells the story of a changing place. I mean, that is such a perfect analogy for a third world country. The smiles that you see from the children in these impoverished environments, they have so much hope. And this song is about hope, clinging to it like you cling to water or cling to food when it's so scarce. She knows no greater wonder than what she's seen. She bears a heart of secrets from where she's been. She says, hear me now, see in me, and I'll rise. She's worked hard and achieved, a new life's been received. So much pride in her eyes, she's thrown out her disguise. She's got a chance to make it on her own. Just one man gave hope to his home. He says, hear me now, and it continues. It's a beautiful tribute song that really feels as though they're putting the villagers in the spotlight. They're singing from their perspective. They're really getting to understand humanity. And that's really comes through in this song so beautifully with the playful yet very serene instrumental. Everything just comes together so beautifully. There's an acoustic version at the piano that closes out this album, which is also very beautiful, which is even more stripped back. So you can imagine how raw her vocals sound, even in both versions, but especially in the very stripped back acoustic one. Price of Fame is another a little bit more folk rock acoustic song, speaking about moving to LA and deciding, do we really want to sacrifice ourselves too much as a band for selling out to make money? They go over these questions in their head. I got everything, but I feel poor. The LA sun is warm, but I don't feel it anymore. I could so relate to that. You know, LA, it may sound and look very sunny all the time, but that warmth is, if it's not coming in from within all the time, if you don't feel like you actually belong in LA and the very kind of manufactured product that a lot of it is, then you're not going to feel the sun the same way. I stand here swaying by the beautiful, and I'm nearly invisible. Maybe one day, maybe 1 hour, maybe one more night, and I will get out of here. But for now, I'll stay alone amongst the crowd. There's no way tears are allowed. But I'm going to try to play the game. Is this the price of fame? This second guessing, you know? I'm trying to sell out shows. I'm trying to make it in this big city, but I don't belong here. I will always feel alone amongst the crowd, but here I stand for my dream. So I think that this song was sort of a really important idea that they needed to get out, that they felt personally as a duo they were struggling with in terms of creating and crafting this sound and music and understanding the direction and audience that they wanted to go for. And they have rejected the fame completely, and I love that because that's not them. They're such a wholesome but very passionate group that only wants positive energy imbued into their sound. Positive with a capital P. They don't want the drama. They don't want the manufactured product. They want real, authentic music and people to come and have one-on-one connections with. And it's worth sometimes that price in certain circumstances, but is it always worth selling yourself for fame? That question comes up. Last, we have Tell Me. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I remember reading that this is actually a cover song, but for some reason in my research now, I'm not getting any information on that. Unfortunately, with the Green Children being a little bit very non-mainstream, there's not a ton of information on them online, so I'm not able to confirm that. But this is, I believe, a cover song. I do not believe they actually wrote this song. Like I said, it's a very crisper and more acoustic, pure vocal track, not as processed, not as synthetic. A very beautiful Adele vocal coming through, very rich and raspy. Speaking about a love for someone, possibly her mother. I mean, she does say, Mama's falling, she's falling fast and I can't reach her. But it could also mean someone just that you're close with, like a mother. I can't help you if you're going to keep bringing yourself down. I need you to believe in yourself, and I can't hold you up forever. Please tell me that you're going to try to help yourself rise up out of this as well, because I can't do all of this work for you to bring you out of the darkness. So it's a very endearing, personal kind of one-on-one track that, like I said, it might be a cover. I'd really like some confirmation on that. That is a beautiful, soulful piano ballad. Overall, you're getting Adele-like vocals, you're getting some very atmospheric, ethereal electropop, and you're getting such a positive, soulful sound that will just fill you up with wonder and excitement. And I feel like that's something that's missing in a lot of music that maybe takes itself maybe a little too seriously. The Green Children, they're not afraid to come across as cheesy or saccharine. They are unapologetically going to sing about love in the most fairy tale way. And they're going to continue to use fairy tales as analogies, and they're going to continue to pull at the heartstrings in the most childlike manner to create a warm feeling inside of you. They're not beating around the bush here. They are trying to spread peace and light, and that is their mission. And so I always felt this strong resonance with them and their mission, as well as their sort of introspective understanding of the world that comes across through the lyrics. So I hope you checked out this group. I will always find something so magical about them. I'm going to review their second album, Connection, in the near future, so stick around for that. I hope you enjoyed me talking about this. If you know of the Green Children, please let me know in the comments your thoughts about this record. And like I said, like they're trying to spread peace, love, and light to everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Peace, love, and light. Bye.
Wishing you, wishing I